With the Toyota Grand Highlander, I am here. Toyota says the Grand Highlander symbolizes Ohana, which translates to family. Their largest family hauler so far, this vehicle is so roomy, you won't have to leave anyone behind if you're taking a road trip. It sits between the standard Highlander and the body-on-frame Sequoia and is the largest unibody SUV that they offer. When it comes to pricing, because that's what everyone cares about, it starts in the low 40s and can go up to the high 50s if you opt for the Hybrid Max drivetrain with the Platinum or Capstone trim level. It's the regular turbocharged 4-cylinder with all-wheel drive and the Platinum trim. Technically speaking, what do you need to know about this car? It is based on the global front-wheel drive TNGA-K platform from Toyota, which powers vehicles like the RAV4, Camry, Avalon, RX, and NX. Basically everything that isn't too little and has front-wheel drive. Even with this elongated variant, the engineers claim to have done every effort to preserve body stiffness. As with some models like the Telluride, they didn't want this to feel like a cheap, flexible SUV. The body flexes in those, especially in the second and third rows. Toyota has attempted to remedy that issue here, and they've basically succeeded. The suspension is a strut front and multi-link rear setup. While there are no adaptive dampers, the suspension tuning is slightly different across the Hybrid, Hybrid Max, and regular 4-cylinder models, though the general philosophy remains the same. It's a compliant car, prioritizing comfort over body control. It's large and floaty, but it drives smaller than it looks. 3 drivetrain choices are available: a standard hybrid with an optional EAWD system and eCVT. Their most potent variation, the Hybrid Max, achieves combined fuel economy in the upper 20s and provides the most torque, making it the fastest and sportiest choice. And finally, there is the entry-level hybrid. Afterwards, there is this new model that replaces the previous V6, a 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with an 8-speed manual transmission and on-demand all-wheel drive. What about interior space? Toyota has clearly prioritized that here. The rear hatch has a huge cavernous opening with the third row up. You can fit a lot of bags back there, and with the third row down you get about 60 cubic feet of space. Drop the second row and you've got over 90 cubic feet, making this an extremely usable SUV. They've concentrated on making it functional and approachable inside. There are no gimmicks here, just useful knobs, buttons, and switches that are all made to age well. Everywhere in the cabin, from the dashboard to the rear seats, there are USB-C connectors to ensure that gadgets are always charged. Large door pockets and a roomy center console provide lots of storage, and the HVAC controls are primarily physical, saving you from stumbling over touchscreens. The gauge cluster is digital, but it's straightforward to use and has well-designed graphics on the steering wheel controls. One of the best things about the Grand Highlander is how comfortable and spacious it is inside. Headroom is excellent and visibility is great thanks to its large windows. In the second row, you have the option of captain's chairs with a removable center armrest, and access to the third row is easy with a built-in handle. The third row itself is where you see the biggest improvement over the regular Highlander. There's an additional 6 inches of legroom, making it comfortable for adults. Plus, you don't need to fold the third row down to store luggage. It offers real usable space even with all seats up. The Hybrid Max is the most expensive choice. As tested, this variant cost around $60,000 and produced more than 300 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. Unlike the standard hybrid, this one has a 6-speed automatic transmission rather of an eCVT, but it still has EAWD and an electric motor between the engine and the gearbox. Already said, the suspension is roughly the same across all versions, and the soft suspension and body control are not ideal for these curvy Hawaiian roads. This device is so lightly sprung that driving along undulating roads makes you physically sick. On flat surfaces, still it is comfortable. The real problem here is physical control. It feels like you're on a small boat in severe waves, constantly bobbing around. However, the drivetrain is reliable, and Toyota has arguably done a better job of implementing hybrid technology than anyone else. It's smooth and reliable, but not terribly interesting. Now, this car faces severe competition from the Honda Pilot, Kia Telluride, and Hyundai Palisade. It doesn't have the best driving dynamics, but it excels as a people transporter. You're truly buying it for the room and functionality. The Grand Highlander expands on Toyota's tried-and-true formulas while dramatically upgrading them. The outside style is classic, the interior is free of frills, and Toyota has stuck to the basics, emphasizing use and comfort. It's basically a cross between a minivan and an SUV with enough luxury features to keep you happy without the hefty ownership costs associated with premium models. You get reliability and practicality, but it isn't the most exciting vehicle to drive. Overall, it is about providing an easy journey for families.